How y'all doing? It is Thursday, July 28th, 2022 AD, and it is 9:01 a.m. U.S. Pacific Daylight Time. Gonna have a fun Thursday show, I think. We'll talk about this hero Mexican cowboy man who stopped a robbery, an armed robbery, back in 2018. A video resurfaced, went, slightly viral. Every now and then a video will make its rounds. It's my first time seeing it that I can recall. But he got stabbed in the process, we think. Oh, ouch. Mexico, it's rough over there. And it's getting rougher over here. Watch out. And I may contrast it with this fat Mexican lady who's up here in Texas, Uvalde, not here, but here in America, in Texas, in Uvalde, who's like, I will second guess myself for the rest of my life. And yet she's also defending herself. I feel that I followed the training that I was provided with to the best of my abilities. So she's kind of talking out of both sides of her mouth. She's the one she's the fat female principal, Mexican, who's in charge of the school where the mass shooting took place. I mean, she's not the problem. She's just part of the symptoms, right? Part of the symptoms. Maybe even part of the problem. She's talking to Commie Nonsense Network, right? Anyway, and also I want to cover more on Christian nationalism, according to the liberals. It's funny how they never ask us if I'm a Christian nationalist. I guess I am. I'm not sure. Not sure. I cracked. What we think about ourselves. They always refer to some liberals, some fake experts who don't even agree with us, who just straw man us, dumb people, phony intellectuals. All that and your calls, you can call in. But anyway, guys, let's get right on with the show!
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Hey, guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
So, how are you guys doing? Oh my gosh, I forgot to open up the Restream chat. I am fine. I've been missing out on your chats this whole time. Chat again, say everything that you said before if it was important, which is to say nothing. Where's the deep voice? Hey guys, Hake? Asks Xiu. I don't know, I'm kind of going back in between. Some people miss the high-pitched voice, hey guys. My old friend / fiend, Skip, had said, hey, put some bass on your voice, Hake. Remember him? Guys, before it's Thursday, you can call in 888-775-3773. I am wearing my Trump t-shirt. I've been wearing this quite a bit. It says Trump. It's Trump International Hotel, Las Vegas. Shout out to Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas. But first, let me get to Denny in Bulgaria is on the line. Denny has a White History Month figure to share with us, perhaps. Denny, how are you?
Hello, Mr. Hake. All is well. I hope you're doing fine.
I'm doing fine, too. Thank you. Yes.
Glad to hear. It is a White History Month because the man I'm going to talk about was white. But it's also an interesting story with a peculiar outcome. Mr. Hake, are you familiar with the Germanic rebel hero called Arminius?
Arminius?
Yes.
Arminius? I am not.
A-R...
Go ahead.
A-R-M-M-I Arminius.
Arminius, a commander. Arminius.
Yeah,
Oh, you know
he
what?
was,
I may be familiar with this guy. Hold on.
Yes.
Would I have read about him in like one of those? Was he a
I
character?
assume you've read about him when you were young and you were in high school. He was a legendary man.
Yeah.
He also made a fatal mistake.
Okay.
I'm calling because to summarize his achievement, when he was very young, I think he was 12 or 13, he was selected to be a Germanic Roman soldier. Now keep in mind, back then there was no such thing as Germany. It was a Roman Empire. And he was selected to be a soldier. He was absolutely a remarkable man. He excelled very, very fast. At the age of 25, he was already a Germanic lieutenant,
That's
which was
awesome.
almost unheard of. Most of the lieutenants were Roman.
Nice.
Once that, he really despised the Romans. He hated them.
Wow.
But he learned from them. And for over 4 years, he built the perfect trap. He lured the most elite corpus of the Roman Empire. And in a single, I think it was a single day or maybe it was a couple of days, he and his army killed over 20,000 Roman soldiers.
Wow.
Back then, that was 10% of the Roman army and 35% of the elite Roman army. And it was a devastating blow to the Roman Empire. It was an absolute massacre. The corpses were lined for kilometers.
Wow.
Now that sounds remarkable, and it really is. But I'm calling to share with you and your viewers what happened afterwards. He hated the Romans because they were very strict. They had a lot of rules, and they never questioned the rules. It's if an order is given, it's given, and it's supposed to be carried out. You don't question the order.
Wow.
That was the Roman mentality.
Okay.
This is why they were so great. He hated that.
Yeah.
And once he blew that devastating blow to the Roman Empire, the emperor then, Tiberius, removed all soldiers, all funding, and all people from the Germanic region. He left them alone. But you see, that's the problem. Because when you grew up and I grew up, we all studied about the British Empire, the French Empire, the Spanish. Haven't you noticed that you've never studied about the Germanic Empire? That's because that thing never existed. When the Romans withdrew, they took the civilization with them.
Wow.
They left Germanic savages who had no idea what to do and how to operate. They didn't know how to run a country, nor how to establish one. This is why the Germanic region was problematic for centuries, because what Arminius did triggered a landslide of violence. The Romans were trying to kill the Germanic people were trying to kill everybody, and that went on for nearly 2,000 years. The story that I'm telling you was around year 20 after Christ.
Wow.
So that, and yes, indeed, although Arminius was a brilliant general and a strategist,
Yep.
his actions generated issues and problems that kept on basically until World War II. That
Wow.
region has always been problematic because of the hatred between the people there that was generated. And it was generated by hate.
Yeah.
In this case, the hate of Arminius. I think this is an interesting history lesson we can all learn from, because if someone along those 2 millenniums decided just to let it go, things might have been different in Europe.
Right. Man, that is a wild story. That's very interesting, man. I appreciate that. Arminius.
I'm full of those. I'm full of those stories. This is why I'm so grateful that you're willing to take my call so that I can share it with you and your viewers. Those are really useful history lessons, and I really enjoy the fact that you're allowing me to speak to you regarding those matters, because they're useful.
They say that Arminius died at 37 or 38 years old. Born in 18 or 17, the year 18 or 17 before Christ, and then he died. They say in 21 A.D., Anno Domini, the year of our Lord, at 37 or 38.
He died in an interesting way. He tried to create a Germanic country, but there were different tribes. The tribes didn't like one another. One of the other Germanic tribes killed him.
Wow.
Although he was considered a Germanic hero.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you don't have civilizations. There are rules. They are strict, but they are supposed to be strict if a civilization is to prosper.
Yeah.
I may not look, and let's be honest, I don't like rules either.
Yeah.
But I am going to obey them because it's for my own good and for the good of reality. You have to be civilized. If you're not, I just gave you a very good example of what happens when those who know how to apply the rules decide to leave you alone.
Yeah.
And this is it's funny that we used to study about this guy and this particular story in history, and they actually removed him from history lessons.
Really?
Yes. As odd as it sounds, yes.
Why did they remove him from history lessons? Arminius,
I
you're
don't
talking
know.
about.
Yes, they actually removed everything related to the emperor, the Roman emperor Tiberius.
Okay.
And because that happened under him, but I think this is a very, very useful story. And I think that doesn't matter where you're from, it will be useful.
Yeah.
It's like a little bit of a reminder to know that rules exist for a very specific reason.
A talented and great man, but he also brought a lot of harm.
Yes, a lot of harm.
Wow.
Nearly 2 millennia of deaths.
I mean,
it's
not just because of him, because if the human heart wasn't evil in all people, you can't.
I agree.
Yeah. But that's interesting.
I completely agree.
Wow.
Mr. Hake, I would also want to apologize to you for something.
All right.
I called Mr. Peterson last week. You picked up the phone, but I'm hearing those beeping noise from Skype.
Uh-huh.
And you picked up, and I accidentally called you Nick. I'm sorry about it. It wasn't on purpose.
No problem. It's a compliment.
And if I have but a moment, may I ask an interesting question?
All right, go ahead.
If you have only 15 minutes to spend with someone who is either alive or dead, someone you have admired as a child, a poet or something, who would this person be?
Maybe Jesus.
It's a tricky one. He's already here.
I know, but I wonder what he was like in person, because the way that they impersonate him in the actors and the liberals and the conservatives and everybody, the way that people portray Jesus, I wonder, and the academics, I wonder what he was really like,
Nice.
Yeah.
Mr. Hake, thank you for taking the time to hear me out. I would like to wish you a remarkable day. Kind regards to your colleagues, and all the best, sir.
Thank you. Happy White History Month, man. Take care, Denny.
Happy White History Month, Mr. Hake. Goodbye.
Bye. Denny in Bulgaria. Arminius. I read, maybe there was another, like a Shakespeare character named Arminius, or maybe it was this same guy that I learned about. I had a great world history and geography teacher. I felt that he was great. He was red-haired like me. He called it orange hair. Some of you people call it gingers. That's only for women. Psh. But Germanic nobles, per Wikipedia, far left Wikipedia, but perhaps this is accurate, I don't know. Germanic nobles, afraid of Arminius' growing power, they don't put the apostrophe S, they just put S apostrophe. I don't like that. I call it James's. I don't say, this is James' phone. No, it's James's phone. FYI. I put the extra S. Some people don't like that. They're afraid of Arminius' growing power. These Germanic nobles assassinated him in 21 AD, and as Denny said, like a rival tribe, they don't get along. Interesting that Germans, these Germanic peoples, if they were Germans back then, I guess, didn't appreciate the no questions asked rules, at least this Arminius guy, who was born a prince, supposedly, of the Cherusci tribe. Arminius was part of the Roman-friendly faction of the tribe. He learned Latin and served in the Roman military, but he also, although he was friendly, he hated them, according to him, according to my caller. Interesting. Secretly plotted a Germanic revolt against the Roman rule, culminated in the ambush and destruction of 3 Roman legions in the Teutoburg forest. Wow. You know, just like all great men, Trump, Reagan, were those great men? They had a great impact on the country. Great as in great and good and great and bad. Because stuff that they did had big impacts, for better and worse, right? It's true. People are all bashing Trump for the Operation Warp Speed. I think it's awesome. Awesome as in Mother Nature is awesome. Can do great damage. It's awesome, though. You know? Like big waves and tornadoes, wildfires. Awesome. But powerful and destructive as well. Perhaps, right? Operation Warp Speed? Destructive? Don't know. Far be it from me to make assertions that I don't know. I leave it as kind of I don't know. But yeah, I appreciated my world history and geography teacher, a white man in El Monte, California. Baseball coach. Based? So before I get back to calls, appreciate that, Denny in Bulgaria. I think, I owe a super chat to, Animus. Animus yesterday gave a super chat that I missed because I was too busy yapping, flapping my gums, or whatever you call it. The U.S. Constitution is derived from Christian tradition, and yet these people cite the Constitution to undermine Christianity. Amazing. Yeah, Animus, you're right. And Animus is named after the animus, the racial animus, I think, of Joel Friday, no longer here, because he has so much racial animus. I'm totally messing around. Joel, if anything, has too little racial animus. Joel Friday here. Get on the track one time. Shout out to Joel Friday. And shout out to Animus. Thank you for the super chat. And that's so true. Yeah, the U.S. Constitution, and they say, and whites. You know, the U.S. Constitution is derived from both Christian tradition, and especially white Christian tradition, and whites like the Enlightenment, right? They say, though, the Enlightenment. Was that whites, too? So, and then whites and Christians and men, and there were from men too. Whites, Christians, and men, and, you know, the rich and powerful, the ones who are actually making value, are the most hated. Very interesting. That's why we call it anti-Christian, anti-American, anti-man, anti-what's right. Big Bump says, in Greek mythology, there is an Arminius. Or Harminius. Oh, maybe that's who you were thinking about. Yeah, probably. Because I don't pay attention to history. Because why do I have to remember stuff that happened? More stuff is just going to happen. It's like I don't pay attention to geography. What if we go to another world? That's what Satan told me when I was a kid. So I didn't pay attention to geography. I'm like, why do I have to learn all these different countries? This stuff could change. What a mess. Thank you, Big Bump. Yeah, you're probably right. But very cool. Arminius. Before I get back to calls, you can call in, guys. 888-775-3773. And we are getting ready for Men's History Month. I have an upcoming caller on that. But let me speak of a white man, a white Hispanic man. Where's Sri Lanka, white man? Don't ask me. Awesome man. This is my headline. Awesome man stops an armed robbery and assaults And I didn't know it. I didn't realize it. I don't have the eagle eye, especially at a low-res picture, low-quality image of this. But I saw this from one of my Twitter followers, and I followed him back, from some lady who wrote, "Wow, that's a true hero." And the 2018 headline, I dug into it a little bit. 2018 headline from Fox News. Faux news. Customer in a cowboy hat helps thwart an armed robbery at a Monterrey butcher shop. Monterrey is in Mexico. So is this fat Mexican guy who, like, stops the thing. And I have silent video. I do have clip 11 for you guys. Just one or two clips today. One of them might be long. We'll see. CNN. But anyway, this is from Carniceria Facebook page. Posted April 2013, 23rd, 2018. This is a silent video. Se frustra intento de robo en nuestras inmediaciones. Por favor, compartir y difundir. Translation, armed robbery in our vicinity is frustrated. Please share and spread the word. And it's this 1 minute video. Let me show it to you, and I'll kind of describe it for the podcast listeners and for the edification of those watching. I may have to play it twice because there's a lot happening, and I don't have freeze frame or anything. But hit it, Hassan. Here it is.
The principal of Robb
11.
Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas,
Not
speaking out exclusively to CNN in the
Pardon
aftermath
us, guys. Clip 11. Is it there? Hopefully it's there. Here's the real thing. We're not showing CNN yet. I don't know if I want to even show CNN. Here it is, I think. Okay, so it's a store. Beautiful, clean Mexican store. And this guy with a hoodie comes in. He's not black, though. And he's, like, pointing a revolver, a little revolver, snub nose. And this guy's, like, looking at him. Takes his sunglasses off. And then he sees a woman customer or something like that. And the Mexican guy jumps on him, gets him, and grabs him. And this skinny little whippersnapper, he actually pulled out a knife. You might not have seen that because it happened so fast. And then, like, he takes off his sweatshirt and a hat, and he's in his his shirt is off, but he still had a knife, and three guys take him down. Two workers. This is Mexico. It's like the Wild West. Shout out to Mexico and the Wild West. And so these store employees, butchers, with their white jacket things. You know how those butchers have their stuff. And hats. Let's play it again, and I'll try to catch stuff that I may have, and point stuff out that I may have missed. Because the guy actually pulls out a knife, and he's like hitting and stabbing the fat Mexican guy with the cowboy hat. But watch this. Watch it again. Here it is. Guy walks in. Customer at the counter. He's pointing a thing at him. Give me your money. N-word. Do Mexicans say N-word in Mexico too? Up here they do. Takes off his glasses. As soon as he looks away, he gets him. And he rips the gun out of his hand. But then the guy pulls out a knife. Bam, 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 bam. You saw a glint at the knife if you were looking closely. And the guy is able to weasel out, but he stops him, and he slams him down on the counter nice on his back, and they're like subduing him. It takes 2 or 3 people, because this guy is squirrely. All strong. You know, these young, strong, squirrely whippersnappers. Do something better with your life. But I don't know how badly this Mexican cowboy fat guy, who's hero, awesome man, who stopped this armed robbery, I don't know how badly he was hurt. Somebody said that he was in critical condition. A guy responded to this tweet from this lady who said, "Wow, that's a true hero. Conveniently, no context here. The robber proceeded to pull out a knife and repeatedly stab the Good Samaritan, leaving him in critical condition." I don't know if that's true or not. It very well could be, because stabbings, they do damage, even against a fat guy. Luckily, that guy's fat. That may help preserve some of the innards. Because he stabbed him right in the torso, it looked like. Can't remember if he survives or not. Compliance isn't foolproof. Compliance is not foolproof, this guy is writing. But it's statistically the best option, being robbed from the drop. And a follow-up tweet says he survived. I don't know how he knows that either. I only mention that because it's important to know what kind of situation you're throwing yourself into and to be prepared. He said, links are in the description, but they're in Spanish. You can clearly see him getting stabbed repeatedly in this video. And he links this video from the YouTube account Active Self-Protection from April of 2018. And I guess they did have links in the description. News story and Newsweek. Raw story. Blah, blah, blah. Héroe ranchero frustra robo a una carniceria. That means a ranchero, which is like a Mexican cowboy, frustrated a robber in a carniceria, which is to say a butcher shop. And I don't feel like translating it on the spot, but crazy, huh? So you can see a breakdown of the video with clearer picture and freeze frames and stuff, and breakdown from this Active Self-Protection YouTube channel. Robber overwhelmed by prepared defender. But yeah, it took 3 guys to do it, and looks like he did get stabbed. Wild, huh? Wild. So in contrast to that, well, shout out to that hero, those heroes. I wish that we had a little bit more manliness like that, maybe. But wisdom, too. You have to be wise when you're doing that stuff. Like you said, he got himself stabbed. Robert had a gun and a knife. They took the gun from him. He pulled out the knife and stabbed the dude. You got to be wise. But, now here, like they don't even have to be armed. You're just not even supposed to try to stop them. You're not supposed to, barely confront them. Employees, store employees, and customers and stuff. They protect the criminals more than they protect the innocent people. We have a backwards, evil, communist, anti-white, anti-man, anti-Christian country right now, and culture. Terrible, huh? I'm shaking my head. But contrast that with these, I don't necessarily think there's that much bravery down there in Mexico. I don't think so. And even up here in America, I don't think there is that much bravery here in America. And part of it, we have females running the show. 2. That's me pretending to spit. But I would not spit on purpose in Jesse Lee's studio. Shout out to Jesse Lee Peterson. CNN loves mass murder, as you know. Commie Nonsense Network. I reference them all the time. This Uvalde principal, I showed her before. She's the school principal. And Sleepy Joe Biden met with her, and she's this just fat, cute, mildly attractive Mexican lady or Hispanic lady. Oh, yeah, real authoritative. I've only ever had males principals. Mr. Dunn, Mr. Tucker before him. Mr. Dunn had gotten shot in the war or the military, or Vietnam or somewhere. And he was a school principal. Mr. Tucker, another man, when I was growing up, kindergarten through 8th grade. Solid guys. Stewart, nice. But this lady, and I don't blame her for the school shooting necessarily. I mean, perhaps had they had a disciplined, don't question the rules type of man. It's interesting that Denny said that the Germanic guy didn't like the don't question rules, because isn't that what we're told, that the Nazis, they weren't allowed to question the rules? I don't know. Anyway, this Uvalde principal lady talking out of both sides of her mouth, being all defensive and at the same time judging herself. Typical woman. Here's a quote. I will second guess myself for the rest of my life. Robb Elementary School, Mandy Gutierrez. Not to be confused with the Portuguese guy whom Bill Lockwood, who was on Jesse Lee Peterson's show today, referenced Rafael Gutierrez. Rafael Gutierrez? Gutierrez. Antonio Gutierrez, who's the, no I in that one. Antonio Gutierrez, who is like a Portuguese politician, a socialist, a communist, who is the United Nations Secretary General. And they have an army or military, as Bill Lockwood said. No, this lady's Gutierrez. Different. She was all defending herself Wednesday against criticism about her handling of school security. Shall I play this clip? Clip 12? Clip 12A. Before the massacre that left 19 children and 2 teachers dead, quote, I feel that I followed the training that I was provided to the best of my abilities, she said, when asked about whether she felt that she should lose her job. Oh, man. What kind of question is that, commie nonsense? So here's clip 12A. It's from CNN. It's about 2 minutes, a little over 2 minutes long, about the Robb Elementary School principal breaking her silence in a CNN interview. They put her on paid leave because, you know, they're investigating people and scapegoating and finger pointing. It's like a culture-wide problem. You can blame different specific things for failures on the parts of perhaps police, perhaps school officials, perhaps teachers, and very likely parents, mother, and not to mention the male himself who committed the mass murder. But it didn't have to go down so easily. So here's this clip. Our favorite, Don Lemon, looking all old and decrepit and no very little life in him anymore. He used to be all young and bright and innocent as a not morally straight black liberal can be. The hatred for Trump has worn this guy out. But anyway, here he is, and he's going to present a female so-called journalist who's interviewed this lady. Rosa Flores is a CNN woman who we will also hear. Here it is.
The principal of Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas, speaking out exclusively to CNN in the aftermath of the mass shooting that killed 19 children and 2 of their teachers. Mandy Gutierrez, who has been put on paid leave pending an investigation, says she stands by her actions on that fateful day and that she followed her training. She also says that accusations she was lax about school security are unfair and inaccurate. More tonight from CNN's Rosa Flores.
I couldn't help but interrupt.
When I was calling Chief Arredondo, I heard 3 shots. The initial 3 shots.
The principal of Robb Elementary School in Uvalde breaking her silence and answering questions about allegations of lax security at the school.
I believe that I did my job to the best of my abilities.
While law enforcement's handling of that ill-fated day has seen the most scrutiny up to now, the families of the victims.
Y'all do not give a damn about our children or us.
What are you guys doing?
Turning their calls for accountability towards the school administration, including the principal who says she was suspended with pay this week pending a performance review relating to campus security. Last school year was her first year as principal.
Starting at that school, at Robb, that principal needs to be gone. All of the school board needs to be gone.
I believe they're entitled to their opinion. I followed the training that I was provided with to the best of my abilities.
The Texas House Investigative Committee report revealed that Robb Elementary had a culture of noncompliance with safety policies, requiring doors to be kept locked, which turned out to be fatal. Gutierrez responding to that criticism.
Was there a culture of noncompliance at Robb Elementary?
Absolutely not. Anytime that an alert went out, every single teacher on that campus took it to mean it could be a potential escalating situation. And so everybody follows protocol.
It's funny because you hear her. She has these earrings, and you hear the ding, 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 ding earrings, like clinking. She's all fat, but kind of mildly attractive, right? A culture of non-compliance. Uvalde shooting was a hoax. Nobody died. Nobody got hurt. Oh, my goodness. I noticed that the male father guy who was speaking at this school board meeting or whatever that was on that stage with the big old audience, they're all applauding. The guy's like, "You don't give a darn," but he didn't say darn. No, Hake. Come on, James. No, Hake, for goodness sake. She is not not mildly attractive. I'm trying to be gracious, generous. But the guy's like, "Oh, you do not give a dang about our kids." To me, that's a little bit grandstanding because, granted, they're not in like a big city where like all the teachers are off the deep end liberals. But sending your kids to public school in the first place, nowadays, I know a lot of people do it. I know a lot of Christian people do it. I know I went to public school, but public school was different even when I was in school, and there was not all good things. But there was, the gay thing was not accepted at all. When I was in like junior high, high school, and earlier, certainly. 5th grade, I remember I told you about the 5th grade teacher. I think it was a 5th grade teacher, Mrs. Otter. Statute of limitations on free speech. Antifa, if you're watching. You guys can't go after Mrs. Otter. She's all homosexual. That's like a made-up word to describe like a perversion. To like label a perversion, she said. Because she was describing, the word homo sapiens. Homo means same. But see, even the word homosexual wasn't even accepted. Even the radical homosexuals, the fake Christians who pretend that homosexuality should be accepted in Christianity today, they're like, "Oh, it wasn't even considered an identity back in, it wasn't considered a sexuality back in the Bible times." That shows you that when you start to get a mindset about something, it traps these people even worse. Communism, language manipulation to manipulate the mind. Yeah, that's right. No sex before marriage, Rob Nunn. That's correct. Anyway, here's clip B. Here she is, another 2.5 minutes before I get back to calls. I will get back to calls right after this, guys. Thank you for your patience. Here's clip B, more with this Mandy Gutierrez. She seems nice, though, fat Hispanic lady. Being confronted by the CNN female journalist. I'm shaking my head. Here it is.
So you disagree with the findings of the Texas House investigative report?
I disagree.
According to the Texas House investigative report, a coach that was somewhere on school property saw the gunman jump this fence. She used her radio to report it. The principal heard the call and tried to initiate a lockdown using a software application, but the Wi-Fi was bad and she did not use the school intercom.
It could potentially magnify a situation.
That's the door that the gunman used to enter the school. According to the report, the door was unlocked. Had the door been locked, as the policy required, it would have likely slowed down the gunman. Instead, surveillance video showed the gunman walked into the building through an unlocked door.
Why was that door unlocked that day?
I am not sure why that door was unlocked.
So that door was normally locked during the day?
Always locked.
Always?
Yes.
Then walked into a classroom, which was likely unlocked, according to the report. The report also states that the principal, teachers, and even many 4th grade students widely knew of the problem with the lock to room 111. But no one placed a work order to repair the lock. not the principal, not anyone else. Gutierrez disputes that account.
What I know for a fact is that the door to room 111 did in fact lock.
It did.
The teacher has to use the key to enter.
So somehow the report says that it was likely unlocked. So somehow it could have been unlocked on that day.
It's possible.
Some of the families of the victims say any safety lapses were inexcusable.
What would you tell her?
You failed our children. You failed our children.
I am very close to my staff and my students and many of their families. It is an unimaginable pain to know that we don't have those individuals with us anymore and that there's families that are missing their loved ones every single day.
The Texas House Investigative Committee standing by their report, the chairman issuing a statement to CNN saying that that is based on testimony from multiple individuals from multiple agencies. As for the school district, a spokesperson did respond to a request for comment, but said that they are too swamped to answer questions.
Crazy, huh? That guy is that a father? I presume it was a father with a nose ring and earrings on his right ear. Was that his right ear? You're not supposed to do that, man. Fake hoax shooting. What a joke. Just emotional mess. Poor lady. But that's partly why you have men and you have like people who are like Nazis that follow the rules and don't ask questions. And yeah, was he not morally straight? Who like are nowadays you have to be tough on security. It's crazy. When I was going to school, we had like this short fence around the short little fence on the street corner, Lower Azusa and Arden. Naming streets, and this short little fence for the, if I recall correctly, for the kindergarten. I think it was sort of short. And we had this gate that was just always open, multiple gates that were always open. I don't even remember if there were even gates. It was just openings in the fences, like built-in openings, like not cut openings. And yeah, there was high crime supposedly in El Monte further south. This is like the border of El Monte and Temple City, right? Beautiful suburban area. A little bit rough as you go further south. South of the train tracks, it gets worse. We're several blocks north of the train tracks. And yeah, it was fine. It was, never felt danger. 7th and 8th grade, we started getting hit with graffiti from like Hayes, El Monte Hicks, El Monte Flores, or whatever. And we would hear about the gangs, the Mexican gangs. I used to think the Mexicans were as bad of violent criminals as the blacks. It is not true. Oh my gosh. They are pretty bad, but it's, at least where we were, no. But so we didn't need all this security because people were more decent. But now we've corrupted the powers that be have corrupted the culture on purpose. And the families on purpose. And so, of course, there's going to be these killers. Anyway. And CNN loves it. They lick this stuff up. They love it. Let me get to William in California. Been on hold for quite some time. Oh, William's gone. Let me get to William. Art in Ohio on the line. Art, how are you doing, man?
I'm all right. Hey, I'm all right. Hey, man, this is like, you can't paint this on a picture right here, man.
What do you mean by that?
What you just sit here, and I didn't know this with the principal and with the commission down there. They said they had been in compliance.
Yeah,
like
a culture of non-compliance, according to, and I could easily believe that they just don't follow the rules. It's fine, whatever, like that. I could easily see that being true. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what the commission report said. And these commissions, these are politicians too, in my opinion, who don't even. They're part of the problem or part of the symptom.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But check this out. No, did you catch? We got to hold up. I got to DJ this out. You mean to tell me that she tried to use an app on her phone?
Yeah.
Something that she probably just a rule that she made up. That wasn't a rule that they had that was in the standards that the school was supposed to be under. They were supposed to be under a regular little lockdown. You lock the door with a key.
Yeah.
The typical liberal female, she wants to go use an app on the computer and try to electronically lock it. And what do you know? The internet doesn't work. Allegedly.
Yeah. The Wi-Fi was spotty and slow. Typical Wi-Fi. Typical Texas Wi-Fi, I add. Crazy.
Am I missing something? Am I tripping, Art? I mean,
and she didn't want to use the intercom because she says that might escalate the situation. Use the intercom, lady. I think. I don't know, but I think she probably should have used the intercom. I don't know if it would have saved anybody. I don't know if the cops. Anyway, go ahead.
She already fumbled the ball, man. I mean, she could have used the intercom all she wanted to, but it's like America. And you can use this analogy as America. You're going to try to get on the intercom at the last second, and can't nobody lock America up at the last second or lock them doors up. They already in the school.
Yeah.
They already in America. It's the same thing. And it's so crazy because I guarantee you something else the news ain't reporting. And this is something else the news ain't reporting. But I'm going to say this too. Who hired her?
I know.
What kind of qualification did she have to even be a principal and be around y'all's kids in the first place?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guarantee you something else the news ain't saying that the commission is keeping under wraps. I guarantee you that school got an 80% of all females in there. Feminist.
Oh, the teachers and staff and all that?
Yep.
I'm very close with my staff and with the students and some of their families. And then she's all giving her emotional mumbo jumbo about, they're always going to miss them every single day.
Yeah.
Hopefully they don't. Hopefully life goes on. You have to move on and learn and grow. Man.
Hey, I forgot what it was, and I've been hip to that little the active shooter. That's where I be watching too or whatnot. So yeah, I've been hip to. I've definitely been watching him for a while. And,
who's that? Who you been watching?
That active shooter. You said you plugged him in earlier.
You've been watching that channel? Let me see what that was. It was called Active Self-Protection.
Active Self-Protection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems like a good channel. They covered that stabbing or the Mexican thing.
Yeah.
ASP.
Well, I seen something on another channel where it was a female. The black dude tussling around. He was trying to pull his gun or whatnot, and she shot him or whatnot. But the thing is, you are shorthand. I'm not just trying to knock the females. I'm just saying physically, we need two strong men. When you out here tussling around with a black dude or a white dude and they got full strength, sometimes one dude can't do that, and so they need another man, and the female's not another man. Well, long story short, the one cop, the bullet went past his head. Somehow he gets the gun out the thing while the female's holding the other dude's arm. Somehow she pulls her gun out and she shot the suspect. And it was almost like, all right, I understand. I'm not knocking her, because the dude, he put himself in that position. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, if you might have had another man or whatnot, you might have been able to use four strong hands instead of two hands and another set of female hands. You could have had four set of man hands to get the suspect down. You see what I'm saying?
Totally.
Some stuff is just facts, and you just like I said a while ago, you compromising the American citizens when you putting a lot of these females in these positions and whatnot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say one thing though. I'm gonna say one thing about white people too,
okay,
or whatnot. Because I agree with everything you be saying, but at some point the white males gotta stop thinking that we'd rather deal with the females because we still scared to deal with other men.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's something we gotta get together too, because
for sure
this ain't about to work. This ain't about to keep working. But I'm listening if you got anything to ask me or say.
Well, that's why we have Men's History Month right after White History Month. Because it's the men and the whites who have to start standing up. Because the men have gotten beaten down and weakened, and even though there's like a false imitation of masculinity out there, we have to get the real thing. And the whites too have to. You better stand up for yourself, as that one guy said to the bullied kid in American History X. In the bathroom after you got beat up. Yeah, stand up for what's right.
You talking about the movie,
that
American History X? You talking?
Yeah, where this guy where the little brother of the so-called white supremacist of Edward Norton's little brother. He's there's this little nerdy white kid who gets beaten up by the blacks, and this little brother not to spoil the movie, even though it's 20 or 30 years old.
It's a good movie, though.
Yeah, well, kind of. Yeah, the little brother blows some cigarette smoke into the face of the blacks and says, "Get out of here," and then he helps the skinny, weak white kid up and says, "You better stand up for yourself." Nice.
Yeah.
Yep. Crazy. Anyway, man, appreciate you. Art, anything else?
No, I think that's about it. If I have anything, I'll just call in. I ain't going to take too much of your time up.
Sounds good.
Thanks for the chat. Thanks for the show.
Yeah.
I'll catch you later, guys.
All right. Take care.
All right, buddy.
Bye. You know, somebody, Frankie BLM over there on Twitch, who I think Frankie BLM is a liberal, but I'm not sure, says that the active self-protection attitude, skills, plan, ASP, the owner and founder, John Correia, Correia, founder and owner, calls him a stand-up guy. He founded this active self-protection 2011. And I've heard that he's a Christian, not all into politics and stuff, which that's fine. That's fine. Right on to him. Anyway, hey, William is back on the line, guys. I meant to get to William earlier. William in California. How are you doing, man? Happy White History Month again to you, sir.
Finally, William in California has
nice.
Returned to the Hake Show.
At long last.
How you doing, my friend?
Doing well, thank you, man.
Hey, man, I got two. I'm going to go with this two for the White History Month. I got two guys.
Okay.
Both are two of my favorites. I'm going to go with Aaron. What's that? Elvis Aaron Presley.
Oh.
What a guy he was.
That was his name, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
We almost had two Elvises. You know, he had an identical twin.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know he had an identical twin. Did he die too?
Yeah, Elvis is dead.
Right,
He's not in the
Elvis.
building.
Elvis, I heard he's dead.
Yeah, his twin died. His twin died at a stillbirth.
Okay. Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah. And Elvis was a hell of a guy. If anybody wants to see a good movie that's really entertaining, it's Elvis and Nixon, and how they tell you where you're supposed to stand when you walk in the Oval Office. In about 15 minutes, Elvis has got his foot on the table. They said the M&Ms are for the president only. Him and Nixon are just say, hey, Nixon's like, just go get me another Dr. Pepper. He can have it. It's hilarious. I'd say it's a must-see.
Nice.
My second one.
What's the name of the movie again that you recommend?
Elvis and Nixon. Please look.
Elvis and Nixon. Okay.
Great movie.
Jesse Garin Presley was delivered 35 minutes before Elvis, stillborn, stillbirth, meaning he was born dead. Wow.
That's right.
I heard that the new Elvis film is okay too.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
All right.
Anything with Elvis.
Right.
Anything with Elvis.
I heard he was a good boy, but he was just didn't have that self-control, you know.
He couldn't actually just live like everybody else, similar to like Michael Jackson. He had to just go inside of his clan, inside his shell, you know, because people, you know, the girls went wild over Elvis. He's an extremely good-looking man, and one hell of an entertainer who opened up a lot of doors for everybody else. So I give my props out to Elvis Aaron Presley. White History Month.
He died allegedly in August of 1977 during Men's History Month at age 42.
I remember it like it was yesterday.
42 years old. That's
I remember it like
quite
it was
young.
yesterday.
Man.
And my second White History Month is the Duke, John Wayne.
Nice. That's a decent guy. Seems like he was a decent guy.
Two very decent guys.
Yeah.
Both of them. Yeah. They were men.
Yeah. And they're going after John Wayne hard because there's these airports that are named after him, and this. I think JLP interviewed
down there where I used to live. It was in my 20s. I transferred down there to Costa Mesa.
Okay. Yeah.
And that airport, the name of that airport is John Wayne.
OC, Orange County, California. Yeah. And
didn't they name it after John? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. You know, JLP on the Fallen State, I think, interviewed an unchristian journalist who was advocating from like the Los Angeles Slimes or somewhere to rename John Wayne Airport because he was racist and anti-Semitic or something like that. Racist, at least. I don't know. But this guy was a solid American man, if I remember right.
Solid.
Yeah.
Very solid guy. This CNN News, you know, I don't even know what does that really stand for. I think it really should stand for Crying Negroes Network, but they lie so much.
They call it
like Trump called them fake news. They are
very
ridiculous.
Very fake news. They're called Cable News Network, but I call them Commie Nonsense Network. And you might be right about the Crying Negroes thing, too.
Yeah, that would be definitely the Crying Negroes Network.
Clinton News Network sometimes.
You know, I see Don Lemon probably settled. Has been kind of quiet about what he did with his little move, his little sexual harassment move in the restaurant.
I didn't keep up with that, yeah.
Yeah, he inappropriately touched a waiter, and the waiter looked at him and says, "Excuse me, I am not gay. You need to get your hands off me." And I think that went viral, but I think it probably got settled quietly in court. Yeah.
Wow.
Because he's still there. The teacher thing, I think, my opinion of it, I think we have talked about this before. Remember when I told you, I said I had a couple of teachers that were, like when we later ran into them in life, you know, and have a drink or something at the bar, they told me, you know, one of them definitely told me, my briefcase did not just have homework in it when you see me walk through that parking lot at school.
Oh, nice.
My briefcase had your homework, and it had a 357.
Nice.
Now, this is in the 70s.
Right.
We didn't have mass shootings at schools. We didn't have lockdown drills and all of that stuff.
Crime was going up, though, but you're right. It wasn't like today. It wasn't where they had...
It wasn't on our campuses, I can tell you that.
Nice.
I have gotten this confirmed.
What town was this?
People. I grew up in San Francisco. I went to George Washington and St. Ignatius, so high schools. So I can tell you right now, there were no mass shootings on our campuses. We didn't have drills for it. We didn't have it.
Yeah.
Because those teachers were not letting anybody come on those campuses and messing with us.
Nice.
So my opinion is I think we need to return to the teachers having concealed carry license.
And being men, not these females, not these female college students who want to brainwash the kids to believe in anti-racism.
Yeah, we got a lot of people around our children at the schools who should not be teaching.
Yeah. That's true. That's so true.
I tell you, I thought when I look at myself, I didn't. Yeah, I used to think, man, you're something else, Will. But actually, I was not a bad student, And it's compared to what's going on right now. I don't think you can compare because my best teachers were men.
Yep.
Most of my best teachers were actually men.
Yeah.
And so I think they need to return to the concealed carry legally policy of for school teachers.
Yeah.
And I think we need to screen the school teachers a little better.
Yeah, maybe get rid of this tenure nonsense. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
James, I'm sure that growing up in San Francisco, I'm sure, even in the 70s, I am sure we had a gay teacher or two.
Yeah, but some of them...
They did not bring that to us.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And I'm sure you had a gay teacher or two, but it wasn't announced. That was not part of your curriculum, so...
Yeah.
You know, I think they need to screen the teachers a little bit better.
I agree.
And somebody come into this thing, next administration, and do something about this educational system and fire all of them because the union is corrupt.
Yeah.
And just fire all of them because, I mean, do you know how many school teachers are coming out of college every year? It's like one of the most common courses in college.
Man.
There's thousands of them. You know, you wouldn't.
And it's it's not something that's really providing value to the world unless they are teaching them valuable things. But by and large, they're teaching them stuff that's worse for society and worse for the lives of the kids. They're setting bad examples.
You're going to have a lot of problems. You are going to have a lot of problems when women, in particular black women, not all, but some. But here's the deal. When you push the father away from the children, like they have done in the black community.
Yeah,
you
like JLP's been saying. Yeah.
When you can't arrest them, Black Lives Matter has told them that they can't be arrested, and they're resisting arrest. They're spitting on cops, and cops are getting some get back somewhat slowly. They're getting kind of sick of it.
Right.
So they, you know, you got your hands up in the air, but you're really still fighting the police. That doesn't mean anything. You're going to really get beat up or shot.
Right.
And somebody needs to tell the blacks that you don't have to be armed.
Yeah.
To get popped.
True.
By a cop. You just do not have to be armed.
Right.
Somebody.
I know they say, oh, unarmed black men are getting.
That doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't, because you could be having a car, you could be posing some type of threat.
I have a father
they don't know that you're
away.
Unarmed. All kinds of stuff.
My dad passed away, and he taught me this years ago. He says, you know, I served this country in the United States Marine Corps. I said, yeah. And he said, I can be dangerous like you would never believe.
Yeah, good point.
With not a gun
Unarmed.
or nothing. Your
body is a weapon. It's true.
He told me some stories. He did things, blew things up. He did a lot of stuff that I want to discuss.
Right.
But he says, I'll put some baking soda, some bleach, and some Coca-Cola next to your hot water heater. I don't need a gun to be dangerous.
Yeah.
No, and if you knew anything, you really don't.
Yep. Thank you, William.
Really
I appreciate it, man. Take care.
You guys have a good one.
All right, you as well. Yeah, punch in the throat. I mean, you can do devastating damage to people. Let me get to it's music time, guys. It's past the top of the hour. Xiu Xiu. I love it. Last 2 days of Xiu Xiu. I may play 2 songs tomorrow, one at the break and then one at the very end, because I just appreciate the artistry. This track is entitled The Fox and the Rabbit. It is from the 2006 album The Air Force on 5 Rue Christine, 5 Rue Christine, R-U-E. That's an old-time word, right? That's the record label that put them out. Here it is, The Fox and the Rabbit by Xiu Xiu, and I'll be right back for the rest of hour 2. Hang tight, guys. You musical Philistines, enjoy, grin and bear it, and I'll be back in a few minutes to talk you through it. Nice.
justice bestrides the haves and have-nots. Go softly, this is being sung for you. Wake up, the wish you made is plucked. Go out, get up, you've done enough. Wake up, to take the time to cuss. Go out, get up, you've seen enough. Do you think that you deserve it? I am waiting here for you, looking out across the brook, my hands resting on my chest. Still, I stare into the night.
Isn't this great?
Wake up, the wish you made is blocked. Go out, get up, you've done enough. Wake up, to take the time to cuss. Go out, get up, you've seen enough.
So good. Am I right? XIU. Not as good as Nickelback. Isn't this nice? Look at this scenery, too. Peck Lake. Bad music, Hake. Not good! Well, thank you guys for bearing with me through that beautiful music. That was Peck Lake, well, reservoir, man-made lake. Amid the, what is that, the Rio Hondo River? Beautiful El Monte. Discordant nonsense, says Parody Bear. Yeah. Yep. Discord. That's, does it reflect society? A lot of discord? The national anthem for Satanists. You said, isn't this gay? Yes, Hake, it is, said the real Mr. Mad. I didn't say that, but yeah, this guy, might have described himself as a B. Not good. Well, I appreciate you guys bearing with me through it. What's the end game for this music, asks Raymond11. Figure skating music, says covert, overt, zero overt, underscore. The end game. Nice title, The Fox and the Rabbit. Not the Hound. Well, right on, Lisa. Thank you. I agree it's a nice title. The end game, I think it's just to express emotions. I think they're pretty good at expressing emotions through the discordant nonsense. I like the title. That's about it. This band has me rethinking my stance on abortion. Terrible. That was music? Well, anyway, thank you guys for bearing with me through what I call that beautiful music. Let me check my Streamlabs. My Streamlabs just went down. Let me check it, though. I think I can get back on. No new supers over there on Odyssey, odysee.com/@ the Hake Report. And we're all clear on the Streamlabs, so that means now is the time for more on Christian nationalism. Christian nationalism. You may have heard Bill Lockwood, the great Bill Lockwood of Wichita Falls, Texas, Tejas. American Liberty with BillLockwood.com. He has a couple of YouTube channels over there on YouTube. He was talking with JLP. He's normally on last Tuesday of the month, but I guess it's the last Thursday of the month today. About Marjorie Greene, the Queen. We call her Queen, Marjorie Greene. And Christian nationalism. I've heard people call one of my competitors, Nicolas J. Fuentes, and the Groypers, his Groypers, Christian nationalists. They may have even referred to themselves as that, I don't know. Yesterday I covered Lauren Boebert and my teenage hero, Jeff Suffering Betger of 90 Pound Wuss, who denounced Christian nationalism as anti-Christ, because he's a Christian anarchist, if I remember correctly. I don't know if he still is. He was at one point, I think. But he shared this article from this black reverend, Marvin McMickle, the Reverend Marvin McMickle. He's in academia, dumb liberal, pretending like he showed Christian nationalism is meaningless or is a dumb or something like that. No, it's not. You showed that you're dumb, Reverend Marvin Mickle. Black preacher. But Lauren Boebert was denouncing the separation of church and state junk. Lauren Boebert being a female politician from Colorado, you know her. Tries to carry a gun. I think she does. Concealed carry in Congress. 35 years old. Mildly attractive. But anyway, she's a married mother of 3, I think, or 2. Or maybe more, I don't know. Anyway, I came across this Fox 8 article out of Greensboro, North Carolina, in the beautiful South. But North Carolina, they got problems, man. Just like seemingly every other state in the country, maybe. And this woman who wrote this article, Fox 8 woman, oh my gosh, she asked a bunch of liberals about what Christian nationalism is. She just refers to a bunch of liberal media outlets about what Christian nationalism. Why not ask a Christian nationalist? Just like those people that define what the alt-right or the Groypers or the white nationalists or whatever these people are, what they refer to liberals to define what they are rather than ask the people themselves. Ask your enemies who you are. Give me a break. Makes no sense. I mean, you can get their opinion too, but lame. So a bunch of liberals, I will remind you, by the way, are anti-Christian. They're anti-nationalist. So they don't know what Christian nationalism is, or they would be that themselves. Am I right? Unless they were pure evil, which they are. Anti-American, they're intellectuals. They're deceivers. This article also says LGBTQ plus and drag. Described that as family friendly. And you'll see why. It's by this woman named Mickelson. Mikkelsen. Which, she's probably not a Christian. Emily Mickelson. Posted July 27th, 2022. Headline reads, Marjorie Taylor Greene calls herself a Christian nationalist. What does that mean? Why not ask Marjorie Greene? Or ask somebody who agrees with her. Ask Nick Fuentes. She spoke at her thing. I mean, she spoke at his AFPAC 3. That was fun. Mickelson, by the way, not a Christian, I don't think. She's a literal, this Emily Mickelsen, Mikkelsen, is a literal blue-haired feminist. Literally. You know how they say, oh, blue-haired feminist. She's literally a blue-haired feminist. Look at the pictures. I have one picture of her. Bafflingly, Fox 8, look at her. Is that blue? That's blue-haired. But it's a blue-haired feminist. I don't think she's Christian. She might be a normal white, but not quite normal white. Mickelson, origin, Danish and Norwegian. Patronymic, whatever that means. From the personal name Mikkel, see Michael. The surname is also found in northern Germany. Northern Germany. Are they all normal whites in Northern Germany? I don't know. But anyway, yeah, maybe. Not quite Anglo, I'll tell you that much. But look at that hair. Her hair is almost as long. I mean, my hair is almost as long as hers. Short hair, blue hair, green hair, maybe. Looks like Joker. She's mildly attractive. I don't mean to bash her looks too much. We're not about bullying or harassment or anything like that. No targeted harassment from Hake. But she has plugs in her ears. Are those plugs in her ears? That's not attractive, lady. Come on. But anyways, Fox 8 refers to her as a they. Oh, what? I don't understand that. She's not a they, she's a she, clearly. Just a little bit of work and she could be a beautiful little lady. And she's living with a partner per Fox 8. I don't know what that means. Not mildly attractive? Guess she's not fat enough for Hake. No, I think she could be. You can see a little brightness in there. Maybe the youth still has, she has a little life in her, but at least on the outside, maybe she's a shell of a woman. Anyway, she calls herself a journalist and calls herself a them on her Twitter. Well, I respect her too much to call her a them or a they. Tattoo collector, by the way. Tattoos. Ooh. Shameful. I'm half kidding. But yeah, her article, oh, show her Twitter. Do I have her Twitter profile pic? Oh, they have 2 cats and a large goofy dog, no children. I mean, she's not married, lives with a partner, whatever that means. Usually that's a radical homosexual thing. She covers crime and LGBTQ issues, by the way. Busy. Is this your typical native Greensboro, North Carolina, born and raised? This is your typical journalist nowadays? Show her Twitter profile. If I have it there. I'm not sure if I do or not. This woman. Let's see. Do I have it? Oh, that's her tweet. Okay. Yeah, maybe I don't have her Twitter profile. Yeah, she tweeted, Marjorie Taylor Greene got a lot of attention after calling herself a Christian nationalist. But what is Christian nationalism? So she shares her article, and it got 1 like on, so don't harass her, guys. Except for Brandon M. Partner means not morally straight, James. Good. You know that. Okay, so maybe she is a lesbian. I don't know. So-called. Anyway, she's like, what does that mean? So to whom does she go to find out what Christian nationalism means? She goes to Rutgers. She cites Rutgers University, far left, extremist, let's see, bunch of libs. According to an explainer published by Rutgers, political ideology that believes that America is an inherently Christian nation, according to an explainer. Christian nationalists want there to be a close relationship between Christianity and the state, and believe there should be political efforts to secure a privileged position for Christianity in the public square. Privileged position. That's putting it in a way that Christian nationalists might not say. But I guess I could say yes. Yes. Christianity is part of what made America great. Part of the greatness within America, or once greatness. And then she references another liberal outlet, anti-Christian, anti-American outlet, Christianity Today. Christianity Today, anti-Trump. They came out with that article I mentioned it to you. They're like, oh, impeach Trump or something like that. He's not fit for office. They said that while he was in office. Dumb liberals. Christianity Today describes Christian nationalism as, quote, American nationalists who believe their American identity is inextricable from Christianity. What are you talking about? That's a meaningless statement. Either you are American or you're not American. Either you are a Christian or you're not a Christian. And if you're a Christian and an American, it seems to me you should be a Christian nationalist. It's good to be a nationalist, right? I think. In the book, Taking Back America for God, Christian Nationalism in the United States, the authors, whom she does not name, but there are a couple of liberals, don't be deceived by the title of this dumb book, lay out ideas that they believe are fundamental to the platform of Christian nationalists, which include declaring the United States a Christian nation, duh. The government explicitly advocating Christian values, not enforcing a separation of church and state, whatever that means, and the belief that the success of the United States is a part of God's plan. And by the way, to add in, Fox 8 has an interactive map of all the anti-trans legislation across the country. So Fox 8 is a bunch of transgender activists. I can go on. There's more. Nationalism versus patriotism. While Green portrays Christian nationalism as love for God and country, duh, there is a difference between the philosophies of nationalism and patriotism. And what does she go to? Fake news. The dictionary, as you may know, is very fake news. Dictionary.com defines patriotism as devoted love, support, and blah, 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 defense of one's country, national loyalty. Soldiers, teachers. Now, nowadays, teachers are not patriots. Very few. I only knew a handful of patriotic teachers. Maybe some of them were low-key about it. Maybe they were more than I remember. But nowadays, Police and firefighters serving their community and nation. That's not necessarily patriotism, especially nowadays. Police and firefighters, they're in for the union pay. They're in for the money, because it's good money. Yeah, some of them take risks. Some of them get killed. Some of them do care or are sincere. It goes on to the dictionary.com. It goes on to define nationalism as a policy or doctrine of asserting the interests of one's own nation, viewed as separate from the interests of other nations. Duh, they are separate. Or a common interest of all nations. Common interests. That's very fake news. The people who are pretending to be for the common interests of all nations are pushing the globo-homo stuff. They're pushing the fake anti-racism stuff. They're pushing the feminism stuff. They're against men, against families, against children. They're for abortion. The globo-homo common interests of all nations. Give me a break. The early 20th century rise of fascism blended patriotism with notions of superiority, creating an exclusionary and jingoistic philosophy where everyone on the nation's side is a patriot and everyone they disagree with is a traitor. And that's a fact. We have a whole lot of un-American-minded people in the country. Fox 8 promotes this world's greatest author buys GovernorAbbott.com to lambaste Texas governor over TransCare directive. TransCare directive. I wonder if that's the... This is just a side note that was plugged in this Fox 8 article. And then I will get to your calls. Hang tight, guys. But Abbott, he's a rhino. He's the rhino governor. Well-liked by some. Appreciated on some things, fairly, perhaps. But it's in the old dictionaries as a synonym, says Canadian David. Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, they're just smearing being nationalist. They're like going way overboard against Germany for, the Nazi stuff. And going way overboard against Trump and the Trump supporters and the whites who are into being white in America. Who are all about the whiteness. Or even some who just don't hate whites, don't join into the hatred of whites. Very dishonest. That's the media, that's academia. That's the establishment that this blue-haired feminist is referencing, including the dictionary, the liberal dictionary. But Governor Abbott, I think he wanted to investigate or have people investigate, or somebody wanted to have people investigate parents who let their children go transgender. Usually that's mothers, or in some cases, stepmothers or adoptive mothers, not even real mothers. Because what mother would do that to their children? Even an evil mother wouldn't be that evil. Usually, I think. But I guess oftentimes people do get deceived. Anyway, they go on. Historically, the beliefs of Christian nationalism featured prominent figures like Gerald B. Winrod, Gerald L.K. Smith, who opponents said promoted authoritarian ideas and anti-Semitic conspiracy theories as part of their platforms. And they don't even reference what they actually believed. Smith's Christian Nationalist Crusade, an organization that was defunct by the 70s, is quoted as saying Christian character is the basis of all real Americanism. I kind of believe that. Maybe. The failing New York Slimes writes these political ideologies, which the Slimes is an enemy of America. They're like pro-communism, anti-white. They're the ones who did that hit piece against the guy whom I like so much, Stephen King, Congressman Stephen King of Iowa, the New York Slimes. They're not honest people. Didn't they not cover the communist Holodomor not inaccurately? And that was just the tip of the iceberg. They're very dishonest. These political ideologies and candidates are gaining popularity as several states work to pass laws like Florida's Don't Say Gay bill and scrutiny of transgender people, particularly trans children. No such thing as trans children or transgender people. Federal decisions like the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade, it's a delusion. The people themselves are actual people. But the delusion, that isn't real. But they're pretending that it's real. I mean, she's pretending that it's real, and Fox 8 is pretending that she's a they. So wrong, huh? Federal decisions like the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade and its decisions about school prayer and state funding for religious education are considered cornerstones of the ideology. Recent protests against LGBTQ plus pride events, such as, this is an actual line from an actual local news website, Fox affiliated, such as family-friendly drag brunch. A family-friendly drag brunch sounds like an oxymoron. They think Christian nationalism is an oxymoron. Family-friendly drag brunch. Family-friendly drag is an oxymoron. Anyway. Turned heated in Dallas, this family-friendly drag brunch, turned heated in Dallas, Texas. Shame on Dallas, Texas. Led by self-described Christian fascists. I knew one guy who described himself as a fascist, and he's a very peaceful person. Maybe not very peaceful, but he's a peaceful person. Anyway, who led chants of groomer and heard on camera asking cops to shoot attendees. I disavow asking cops to shoot attendees. Maybe. Depending on the situation, obviously. Christian fascism is a far right-wing ideology that extends beyond the tenets of Christian nationalism into demands for authoritarian Christian state. The driving force behind anti-abortion crimes, such as the assassination of George Tiller or bombing of abortion clinics. I doubt that. When nationalists go, because it's not the extremists who are the violent ones. It's the angry people who are the violent ones. They want to say, oh, extremism. But you have normies committing political violence. Dumb suckers who listen to MSNBC. Anyway, when nationalists go on about constructing their nation, they have to define who is and who is not part of the nation. This is a quote from Christianity Today, the far left fake Christian outlet, Christianity Today. But there are always dissidents and minorities who do not or cannot conform to the nationalist preferred cultural template. In the absence of moral authority, nationalists can only establish themselves by force. Excuse me, moral authority. You have no moral authority. You are dumb liberals who hate Trump. Marjorie Green tweeted, I am being attacked by the godless left because I'm a proud Christian nationalist. These evil people are even calling me a Nazi because I proudly love my country and my God. This lady who's purports to be a politician. I'm not into this female politician stuff, but she's still a queen. The left has shown us exactly who they are. They hate America, and they hate God, and they hate us. And that's true. And you know, this woman who wrote this article referenced this book called Taking America Back for God. The authors of this book, the authors are they even Christians? One of them is this guy named sociologist, not a Christian, Andrew Whitehead. Studying religion, he's a university sociologist, studying religion, politics, disability, books on Christian nationalism in the U.S. American idolatry is due out 2023. And he's followed by this Brandon Robertson, who is a radical homosexual fake Christian himself. He's been on the Jesse Lee Peterson show before. And he retweeted this guy who quote tweeted Marjorie Greene, this guy named Marty Duran. And these people do hate God, but they pretend not to. Marty Duran says, not everybody who opposes Christian nationalism hates God. Yes, you do. My love for God and his kingdom is precisely why I oppose Christian nationalism. You're dumb. You're evil. You don't know who God, you don't know God. And the other guy, the other sociologist who wrote this deceptive book title, he wrote another book. This guy is this sociologist Samuel Perry. Sociologist, studying religion and power. Author of Growing God's Family. Author of Addicted to Lust. Author of Taking Back America for God. The Flag and the Cross. Curriculum vitae. And he's like he claims that he's from a place where if a MAGA rally became a state, I don't know what state that would be. And so this Samuel Perry guy also hates Christians, especially conservative Christians, which are the ones who are like the closest to the real thing. Biggest gaslighting move on the Christian right is to paint themselves as a pro-free speech and secular left is anti-free speech. Oh yeah, that's real gaslighting. Free speech is about freedom to tell the truth. Secularist left is like for pornography. They think that that's free speech. Or communism and subversion. They think that's free speech, and lies and smears and defamation and gossip. They think that's free speech. They're liberals. Higher hashtag Christian. We asked adults, what's the most important right? Higher hashtag Christian nationalism meant devaluing free speech and free press. What they valued most was guns. Nice. Nice. So they say, oh, the percent of white Americans, he has this graph, the percent of white Americans who believe such and such is the most important right across Christian nationalism quartiles. Rejectors of Christian nationalism, resistors of Christian nationalism said, oh, freedom of speech. But they're not for freedom of speech. They're for shutting down. They pretend like they're for freedom of speech. This is just self-reporting. Self-reporting doesn't mean you're being honest about yourself, or you can even see yourself clearly. The accommodators of the Christian nationalists are for both free speech and the right to bear arms. And the Christian nationalists, they do value free speech and free religion, but they especially value the freedom, the right to carry arms. And they're not into this freedom of the press thing, because the press runs roughshod over the people. We are the free press. On the, we who are being suppressed by the mainstream media and the establishment social media, are we not? Look at these people who they're not even allowed to have a website. American Christian men can't even have a website in America because these commie capitalist corporations and corrupt fake free press wants to shut down the freedom of speech of the normal people, the decent people. Samuel Perry says, this is a socialist, sociologist, socialist, same thing, right? Anti-white, anti-Christian. Samuel Perry guy says, there were other rights listed that we, like protection from unlawful searches and seizures, states' rights and right to speedy and fair trial. Trends go exactly as you expect, he claims. Yeah, right to a fair trial, a speedy trial. Denied for the Christian nationalists. Denied. Samuel's a Christian name. It's also a Jewish name, by the way. But this guy is, if he's a Christian, he's a phony. I'll just tell you that much. Anyway, that's enough of that. I went on and on and on. Let me get to a call or two, guys. My Streamlabs keeps going out. Nathan in Illinois is on the line here. Nathan, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing good, James. How are you?
Doing fine.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, since how old are you?
What's your question?
Well, how can I find a good woman? I know that there's a lot of deceiving and bad ones out there, especially nowadays, but how can I find a good one, you know?
There is none.
Loyal. What?
There is none.
There isn't?
No woman is good. Why are you trying to find one? How old are you?
Well, 23.
23? Why are you trying to find one? Are you trying to find one, or am I assuming? I'm assuming. So are you trying to find one?
Maybe in between. I mean, I don't need to find one, but like someday I'd like to get married and have children, and so that's always in the back of my mind, as same as a lot of men, you know.
Oh, okay.
And
so do you go up to women when you see a pretty woman? You go up to her and talk to her, or what? Just find out if there's any decency in her.
Sure. You know.
You do?
Yeah.
What have you found?
I got. What do I what?
What have you found among those women whom you've talked to whom you've spoken?
Not what I was hoping to find, because I don't always have the best luck, but, you know, like, I feel like in good time it'll happen when it's right, but, you know, maybe I'm just doing something wrong or looking in the wrong places.
Oh. Well, keep living, man. You working?
Yes, sir.
You on your own?
Driver.
Nice. You on your own?
No, not yet. Especially in this day and age with the price of everything, you know, it's basically a recession nowadays. Wouldn't you agree?
I've heard that. I don't know. That doesn't mean that you don't be on your own though. At 23, it's a good time to move out. There are ways to move out and make it work for you. You will have you ever been on your own?
No, I have not yet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you sound disappointed about that? Are you disappointed about that or no?
I mean, I suppose, you know, I mean, I am an adult and I should be out on my own.
If you're a truck driver, that mean are you working full time as a truck driver? You're out of state sometimes or in state?
No, I'm a local truck driver. It means I'm basically home every night. Like, I don't have a sleeper where I can just crawl and sleep in the bed that's behind me.
Right.
So, yeah, I get finished at the end of the day, and then I, you know, come home and try not to go out much.
How long's your commute?
Too much more. How long do I commute?
Yeah.
Like, work each day?
To work from home, from your parents' house or your mother's. Is it your parents or your mother's or your dad's?
My dad's house. My mother passed away in 2014.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's about like 20 minutes or so from my house, so it's not too bad.
And there's no cheap place in this 20-mile radius from your work, or 20-minute radius from your work? There's no cheap place. Have you looked?
Oh, I've looked. It's just, you know, I'm trying to manage my money well and, you know, keep saving while I can. And believe me, there's a lot of guys my age that are, and not much younger, that are still living at home.
I know. Same with my age, buddy.
Yeah.
Same with my age.
Yeah. Well, how old are you?
41.
41?
Yep.
Yeah. You're almost old enough to be my dad.
I am old enough to be your dad. You're 23?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could have made a baby at 17 or whatever, however many years that is, I forget.
Yeah.
17, 18. But no, no sex before marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah, but do your thing. You praying? You doing JLP's silent prayer?
Not as much as I should.
Oh, okay. Well, that's the first thing. Put first things first. Didn't Jesus say, or God said, or the Bible said anyway, put first, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things shall be added to you. These things being like all the different, I think Jesus said it, all the different things, like your needs and different things. And so I suggest don't worry too much about the woman thing, especially if you're not a shy guy that you can go up to a woman and speak to her and see what type of woman she is. Then just live your life.
Another factor that plays into that is I'm kind of awkward sometimes, you know, and I'm also a little overweight, you know, and I don't want to go be with somebody that I'm not really attracted to just because I'm lonely. You know?
There's fat, awkward guys, but you're not shy, right?
No.
So there's fat, awkward guys who are with, cover your ears, kids, hotties. So that's put the Lord first. Pray, like you said, you're not praying as much as you should. That's first. Get your exercise. Move out. You will love being on your own. I know that you're not living with your mom anymore, and so rest in peace to her. 2014. That's she's long gone, but
I know.
But put the prayer first, and then you keep on at the work. Be consistent and reliable at work. You done the forgive your father thing?
Yes, I have.
Nice. So then just keep plugging away, man. You're 23. You'll be 41 if you get to 41 before you know it, maybe. But stay present.
Sooner than I think.
Yeah, but stay present. Doesn't matter. Stay with God, and then you'll get some exercise. Make sure you're eating right. If you, I'm chuckling because somebody reacted to C-Sal reacted to my saying, hotties. Cover your ears, kids, sorry. You eating your vegetables and fruit? Some people say the fruit and vegetables are poison. But eat properly.
Yeah.
You can eat healthfully in different types of diets. So
definitely. Hey, I have another question for you. So, I know that you're pro-life, obviously, like 100%, and I mean, I mostly am too. But what about women who get raped and then have a baby? Like, what about that situation?
Of course, they have to have the baby. You don't kill the baby. You're adding trauma onto trauma by killing the baby of a rape baby. There's no reason to kill a rape baby.
Right. And it's
the only reason to kill a baby, if there is ever a reason to kill a baby, is maybe to save the life of the mother. Maybe.
Yeah.
You know, like there are babies who are conceived. I learned, I think maybe from our resident health expert Lisa over on Facebook, that babies can be conceived outside the womb, and those babies aren't going to survive anyway. So they need to be. They're called ecto something. And that's what happened to that 10-year-old girl who was allegedly raped by the illegal alien in Ohio. she could have had whatever needed to happen probably in Ohio, I bet. I don't know, but my guess. That's my guess. So, like, in that case, yeah, I mean, the baby's already basically dead or dying. Like, you do what you can to save the lives that are most likely to live, right? So, in that case, yes, but not in the case of rape. Ectopic pregnancy, says Lisa. Thank you.
Right. Well, what if the woman feels like I got raped and now I'm pregnant but I mean, I know it's not the baby's fault, but like, what if the baby grows up and like is traumatized by not being able to know the real father, and like I don't really feel comfortable giving birth to a baby that was conceived without my will, that I didn't was forced upon me.
Never go with the feelings of a woman, and never go into the what if, because right is right and wrong is wrong. You don't kill a baby just because the woman didn't want the sex. Most of the time, the woman wanted it. Most of the time, even in the cases of so-called rape nowadays, the woman is being dishonest and brought that on herself. She took steps to bring that upon herself. And in many, many cases, there are victims who put themselves in the wrong situation. And maybe they were foolish and didn't know better, naive perhaps, but in many cases. But anyway, in the case where it was a forcible rape, it's not her fault. You still don't, are you a Christian? You still don't kill the baby. You're doing worse.
Yes,
you're doing worse to
Yes, I am a Christian.
Yeah, you're doing worse to the woman by traumatizing her, by allowing her to participate in the killing of the child. She'll be worse. She'll be so happy to have that child most of the time.
Yeah. And you remember that one guy, David C. Smalley, that was on The Fallen State with Jesse? He was the atheist guy with the podcast.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I remember like one of the first things he said during that episode was in the book of Samuel somewhere, it said that God told Saul to go and wipe out the Amalekites, kill the men, the women, the children, and the nursing infants.
Yeah.
And my friend's dad, who he's like an undergrad in theology, and he's a very committed churchgoer Christian.
Yeah.
He told me the reason God told Saul to do that was because the Amalekites were worshiping a false god called Moloch, and it was a burning belly of like this bull statue, and they were throwing babies into the belt alive, being burned. Like, they were obviously evil people. So God didn't just tell Saul to do that for no reason, just because he thought it was amusing. It was because they were evil and committing wicked acts like that.
Yeah.
So he's taking that out of context,
True. And it's God's job to decide who lives or who dies. It's not our job. We're not God, and we can't play God, nor should we put women in the position of playing God. They don't make good decisions, and they don't like making these decisions. Oh, I understand. It's a very tough, difficult, personal decision. It's not a personal, it's a societal decision. We say no. We, the men, tell you no, you cannot kill the man's child.
Yeah.
Even the rapist's child.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool, man. Great call, Nathan.
Yeah.
Happy White History Month to you.
James.
You're a white man, right?
Happy White History Month. Yes,
Yeah.
I am. Yes, sir.
So chin up.
I'm half Italian.
Oh,
but
okay.
The rest of me is like European.
Nice.
I think some German and a little bit, just a teensy bit of Native American. So.
Well, Native American means you were born here in America to American parents. So that's what Native American is. You mean American Indian?
American Indian.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, you wouldn't know it unless I told you.
Right.
I mean,
same here.
I'm not the WASP white.
Oh, that's okay.
But I'm white.
Right on, man. And chin
Wide
up.
enough where I could get called out for saying, "Oh, you got white privilege."
Yeah, white enough to be hated. Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. Chin
Yes,
up,
sir.
King. Yeah, just start. You know what helped me? Because I got a little on the fat side for a while. I got fat. I never thought I'd be over 165. I got to 183, which that's not grossly overweight, especially compared to nowadays. But I was like, whoa. And so I started walking every day, about an hour.
Right.
An hour, and that was tough at first. But and then I started jogging a little bit, push-ups and sit-ups,
Yeah.
and push-ups and crunches, not necessarily full-blown sit-ups, and
Well,
pull-ups.
you'd love going on walks in Illinois on the back roads, like
Right
it's
on.
so quiet and peaceful. Cornfields and bean fields to your left and right.
That's
wide
cool.
open spaces.
Nice, man.
Yeah, I'm surprised that you're not married though. Shoot, you'd be a lady killer.
Maybe someday we shall see.
Yeah.
It's
Yes, sir.
it's happened to a lot of whites and men in society and women that it's been a setup against marriage, and I think that society has done and parents have kind of done damage to young men, to whites, and certainly to blacks. That's messed up marriages and families and mindsets and life directions, But we'll see what happens. Thank you, Nathan.
Yeah.
Take care, man.
Same for me.
All
All
right.
right. You take care, James. Talk
Thank
to
you.
you next time.
All right, bye.
All right.
Nathan in Illinois. Based Nathan in Illinois. He kind of reminds me a little bit of my a cousin-in-law whom I know. Solid guy. Respect. Let me get to my favorite caller on the line, Maze, from the sundown town of Dayton, Ohio. Happy White History Month, Maze. How are you doing?
Okay.
Hey,
The reason I call you.
come closer to your phone, please.
Oh, I'm not close enough to my phone.
That's better.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I was listening to something, and then I thought about something. A liar needs help, and the truth stands alone. Right?
Yeah. I think that's
okay.
fair.
So did Elvis Presley die from overdose or being on drugs?
He may have, yeah.
Somebody asked
Elvis
you,
Presley.
Did he or did he not?
I don't know. Some say Elvis lives, but I heard that he's dead.
No, he got to look like some man dressed like him, all fat and out of shape and everything. Like some men have a problem with women because they're ugly and they're fat and out of shape, and no woman will look at them. So then you have some men.
Wait, who's ugly, the men or the women? Or both?
Men. Some men. I didn't say all the men. I said some. I'm going to tell you the ones that I think that has the problem. The ones that always got to run to their mothers for something. Or they got to use their mother to live in their house because their father passed away, and then what was left to their mother, they got to stay there, to be there so they can have some place to go. They hate women. And then you have those that been in jail, and the mom had to get them out, and they upset with their mother and their sister because they didn't follow that same road that they had to. Because they could have been decent citizens and got a job, had their own place, and let the mother live in her place and leave her alone and stay away from her, and things like that.
Uh-huh.
And then you hear these Christian people always saying, God bless you, but they're robbing God of his law every day. Because there's nothing he said in there about blessing anybody. He said, love thy neighbor and thy enemy. And you don't love your enemy or your neighbor. So when I hear men talking against women like that, that's what conclusion I come to as a woman. That that's their problem. No woman don't want them. So what else for them to do is discuss them in a bad way?
I don't know, Maze.
I love men, so I wouldn't put men down like that. I would only want to lift a man up, not put him down. So if you're not lifting people up, you need to take a chill pill and follow God's law. And stop running away from it and saying, God bless you. That's what I think.
I don't think people saying God bless you is robbing God of his law. I don't think that he cares. You think God cares that people say God bless you?
Hatred. You always want God bless you. But what is he blessing?
I mean, it's just a well-wishing after you sneeze because you could have the Black Plague or something. I don't know.
You can have somebody go and knock somebody out and turn around and say, God bless you.
I know, but that's different from saying bless you after you sneeze.
Really?
Yeah, it's different. Assaulting somebody is different from wishing them well after they sneeze.
But I'm saying somebody having a conversation and they putting people down, and all when they turn around and say, God bless you.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Fair enough. It's like if you're an evil person you're hating, and then you say you invoke God, you don't know God? Fair enough, Maze.
No, I ain't saying no God. I'm saying his law. You know his laws, but you would quote a scripture out of somebody else's, like you get a truth from Matthew, Mark, Luke. God didn't say none of those things they're saying to God. Now, that's why people get confused. They always coming up with a lie what somebody else gave them. That's what I mean. The truth stands by itself. So when you tell the truth, you don't have to have nobody standing you with it. You know the truth and you're quiet. But if you tell a lie, you got a whole group of people following behind with the same lie that was told by one person. So with that,
Lisa says, we say Gesundheit in my family. Mother was German.
Like it or not,
Nice.
The truth stands by itself. A liar and lies will spread.
Okay.
Truth will stop and nobody will never know. I mean, everybody's okay. But if you spread lies, it's going to keep going. This lie started and another person gave a lie and another person gave a lie and it's just going on and on and on.
Will you celebrate Men's History Month next week?
No, I don't have no reason to be celebrating no Men's History Month.
How about White History Month?
You have men
last
that
couple
celebrate
days?
and who's a President's Day is men. Because we don't have a woman president, so that's a man. That's a month to be celebrated. I don't celebrate any month. Only thing I celebrate is birthday.
Okay.
So
Nice.
what are you talking to me about a celebration?
All right.
So that's all I have to say.
Thank
and
you.
as I say, the truth stands alone.
I don't
and a liar have to have help.
Yeah. All right.
Have a
Well,
good one.
you too, Maze. Take care. Sometimes she's nice. I guess she was saying that people are hating and then they're pretending like they can invoke God. Well, anyway, guys, this has been the Hake Report. I do appreciate you joining. TheHakeReport.com. Make sure you do check out the Bond Archive Sunday service premiere from yesterday on Bond YouTube channel. It's also on Bond Rebuilding the Man Rumble, Bond Rebuilding the Man BitChute, Bond Rebuilding the Man Odyssey, ODYSEE.com/@Rebuilding the Man. It's also on audio podcast, Church with Jesse Lee Peterson audio podcast with the new services and the old ones. Nice, huh? All right, guys. Thank you and take care.